What's going on, people? I hope you're doing well. And although we're talking about holism in this video, I'm a fan of the reductionist approach to knowledge acquisition and problem solving just as much as I'm a fan of the holistic approach. I think I need to preface this video with that. But when it comes to our lives, who we are, our world, the things that we want to have some meaning, reductionism just isn't the way. How we go about knowing shapes what we understand, so our methods warrant some balance if we don't want to get a warped and misshaped worldview. Since the default approach to knowing for the average person is to divide and reduce the object or concept of interest, we must make an active effort to incorporate an inclusive perspective, no matter how out of fashion it is. Failing to do so only gives us the functional side of understanding, not the meaningful side of it. Through reduction alone, we can never know the why, the what, or the how in a way that has any relation to us or our lives, which is often what I think most people are really after. If we're talking about understanding the culture, the climate, or the universe, how we view them determines how we view ourselves and how we relate to these things. Do we understand culture, climate, and the universe as a system of individual components in a specific arrangement, or as a single thing reducible to individual components? The philosophical question we're asking here is whether or not an object is a thing or nothing more than a collection of smaller things composing what we perceive as an object. For example, we could ask if the economy is a thing in and of itself or simply the image of billions of human financial transactions. Both views can be rational and logical, although the holistic approach is largely shunned because it lacks the predictive power, the accuracy, and the efficiency that we've grown increasingly accustomed to in this world today, and also because we've almost universally misunderstood the philosophy of holism. Holism is an epistemological approach or a top-down way of acquiring knowledge. It is the theory that the proper view of a thing, especially reality and existence in my opinion, is as an integrated whole instead of an assemblage of individual parts. It's a useful view if you're trying to make sense of the world and your place in it because it helps you understand your position relative to the whole, or in another sense, it helps you get your bearings. This perspective is desirable because in order to truly understand a thing, including what a life is, you must understand that thing within a context broad enough to substantiate some meaning. Depending on the object of your attention, that context could be as narrow as an electron, the rules of a game, or it could be as broad as the largest conceivable universe. It really doesn't matter as long as all essential parts, characteristics, or features are contained within the contextual boundary of the whole. An integrated and holistic view is useful existentially and philosophically because the contextual boundary or the definition of the whole grants meaning to the parts contained within or composing the whole. This context gives us a single coordinate from which we can begin constructing a grid or coordinate system that will allow every other part of the whole to be understood in terms of how it relates to the other parts as well as the contextually bounded object. In a holistic sense, our understanding of a single component or multiple components of a system or object is less about the individual constituents and how they relate to one another, and more about how they relate to the entirety of the ensemble. Medically speaking, it'd be less about your high blood pressure and more about your overall health and quality of life. Culturally or socially, it'd be less about an individual person and more about how the societies and cultures composed of individual people operate. Taking this line of thinking to the logical and philosophical extreme, it's less about what the universe is made of and more about how and why the components of the universal whole, including us, relate to one another and the whole the way we do. Of course, as with all things, there is a trade-off since nothing is perfect in life, right? So what you gain in terms of context and meaning with the holistic approach, you will likely lose in terms of precision of explanation and functional utility, which can help explain why many of us in the West are slow or rejecting adopting a holistic view, because in the West, we typically just want to get by something. We just want to get through something. We don't want to know and understand that something. We just want to use a thing and not be burdened with the how, the what, and the why of that thing. And oftentimes having a reduced connection can aid us in making more effective and efficient functional use of that thing. But if we are pursuing excellence in life, or if we want to make a skillful and intelligent use of a thing, we need some meaning and we need some contextual understanding. Even if you have zero regard for the subjective, I still think the holistic perspective is something you want to consider incorporating into your worldview and epistemic pursuits because of its logical soundness. The whole logically contains more sets than the sets contained within the whole. There are more potential ways of arranging and conceiving of a thing in a broader, more holistic view than a narrow, reductive view. This makes understanding the whole, especially the universal whole, the logically more consistent or truer view because it, by definition, contains all objects and concepts within the contextual whole. There is no component or relationship that is excluded, which means there is no truth that's excluded. Ironically, the pioneer of holism, Jan Smuts, was a supporter of apartheid and segregation, but I don't really care because I'm able to separate the individual from the majority of their works, as I think we should all try to do. I just think it serves to show us that we can have understanding, knowledge, and even an evolved theory of existence and still struggle to embrace it in our lives. Knowing better and living better are two different things, clearly. As always, let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below, especially if you're talking about holism and especially if you're on the other side of the street, if you're an atomist or a reductionist and you think the holistic knowledge seeker is being far out, unintelligent, and weird. Let us know in the comment section below. And if you like this video, let me know by liking the video. And if you want to see a lot more of these videos, make sure you're subscribed. So thank you for watching. I will see you on the next one. I want you to have a great day. Later.